All right, guys, just a sec. Just waiting. A couple people. All right, one sec, guys. All right. So, well, let's get right into it. 1 second. Get this stuff over here. And get the questions over here. Oh. Cool. So, interesting day. I was watching this morning. I wasn't too eager to trade anything. The only thing I did see were quite a few of these energy plays hitting again, and they were just relevant back in July. Quickly, 1 second. Okay. Yeah, here's equity feed quickly. So just my broad scan this morning, I saw all of these that you now see on my listed scan hitting my, my broad market view at low volume. And I kind of ignored it. But then I thought to myself, obviously, like, you can't ignore stocks like this that just went completely parabolic. GBR was the one that I was watching the most. But yeah, so I mean, identifying that this sector was hot was a no-brainer earlier this morning, but being that it was kind of like this first bounce day that I've seen for all these stocks in the sector, I wanted to see it actually do something, especially, I mean, things haven't been too hot, but they are picking up lately. Some of these movers are coming back. Anyways, you can see on my listed scan all the top percent gainers right now, energy stocks. So really simple, GBR, OGen, Yuma, PED, all of these stocks are energy plays that ran back in June, July. So we'll cut to the chase. GBR I was watching this morning. I looked at OGen up. I saw CEI. Didn't want to chase CEI this morning. I've traded that in the past. It can be really sketchy. I didn't want to chase OGen. I just wanted to let them do their thing. And now we got GBR coming. All the other energy plays hit. So now this is what I'm watching. GBR, you can see back end of June, had this massive run. I think Sure Trader's parent company bought up the float here. It was some crazy nonsense that I was golfing for, unfortunately. GBR, yeah, GBR, CEI, another thing. Yuma, similar, not exactly the same. PED was the one that kind of set it off, in my opinion. Well, definitely set it off. It had that 40 cent to friggin' 276 move, absolutely crazy, to 425. PED was the one that set it off, so I am watching PED in the close as well. Other thing that we've seen is the return of kind of these random low float reverse split runners. This is SAEX. You can see the reverse stock split just last week or a week and a half ago. And today popped on low volume, and this is kind of another sympathy. We saw one do this last week. If anyone can remember the ticker, type it in because I can't think of it off the top of my head. But we had a reverse split runner last week. Alt, I think. ALT. Boom. Alt. Look at that. It did this random $4.30 to $36 over the next 2 days. These are really potent. Tricky thing is once you get to them and they hit your scans or whatever, you know, some of these things have popped like $2, $3, $4 on less than 100,000 shares in volume. So it's really tough to trade them. You know, it's not really something that I'm looking to just pull the trigger on any reverse split. But, you know, if there's a PR or something like that and you see it's a recent reverse split, that means the flow's low. In this case, it was a 1-30 reverse split on ALT. Today, SAEX did it. Last week, there was, or maybe Friday, I forget when, AYTU kind of tried to do it. It was, but, you know, the reverse split was quite a while ago. Chart very ugly, but you can see it tried to do it. So there was ALT, AYTU, a couple of these little reverse splits kind of moving. So that's good. It's a good sign. We want, you know, we want the volatility. That being said, yeah, really tough to play these things, and then they go into the stratosphere and you're absolutely nuts if you're buying it. Period. You know, this is just squeezes early shorts, and then they squeeze early, you know, the next set of shorts. And then you get this people chasing this stuff because they're seeing that they run, and it's good. Things have been picking up. It's been a better month in terms of volatility and range. SAEX, but for right now I'm concentrating on like the energy sector. So we got GBR. Tough call. This could easily have a day two, but there's going to be a lot of bag holders from this move back in June, July. So I'd be super careful, you know, anything you decide to do up here. But I could see this pushing and squeezing some more. Maybe into a day two for the sector. I doubt much more than that. I need to dive into the reason, see if there's any, you know, reasoning behind this, but I don't think so. Anyways, so let's see here. All right, so GBR was watching this morning. Sorry, my charts got messed up. I don't know what happened on here. But by the end of the week, I'll put my other platform up and have it set up like more friendly for you guys to watch level 2 and stuff. Let's throw a 15-minute on there. It's good for now. And hit me with that VWAP. Hey, sorry. Give me that VWAP. Boom. Boom. Sorry, guys. This is just kind of like a spontaneous close webinar, so. Obviously, if you guys have questions, just shoot them. I'm just rambling right now about my thoughts. So we got GBR going into close. This is where I was watching it this morning. Like, down here in the 225 and then the 250 range. I was contemplating buying a dip after this pop. I was watching it here. You know, I didn't get to see the rest of this because at 11 a.m. or 11:30, I had to take my son to school and daughter. It was bring your dad to school day. So for that, the last 2 hours I've been at my son's preschool. I contemplated buying it, setting a stop, but I didn't want to gamble going into midday. You can see this, you know, after 11:30 when this broke out, this was right into midday. That being said, the pattern's awesome. You know, it's really good move today. It's holding up for now. For now, higher highs, higher lows still. You know, I'm kind of looking at trend line here, which I just, you know, this is just a rough idea for me just to see, are we higher highs, higher lows type scenario. I don't put any weight into this line, but you can see the VWAP's also steadily climbing. So, I mean, we'll see. At this point, it's a pullback here. I want to see this whole VWAP. I wouldn't mind maybe risking a 350, 325 or something. Maybe kind of where this double topped in the threes. It's not really, if this comes back down to $3, I'm not necessarily going to buy it, but there should be some decent support here, 275. Maybe 350 holds. But it's up a lot, 90%, and I don't know why. So So it could be just a 1-day bounce type deal, gap down, and that's the end of this, little revival of the energy stocks. But it's tricky. It's tricky. But I am interested. This does have day 2 written on it for now, as long as it's holding up going into power hour. Did anyone play any of these? I just hate being late to the party when you're, trying to buy a stock. But that being said, if this is just day 1, there's still plenty of upside. And we've seen quite some amazing squeezes lately, so. Where are all those pot stock traders going to go? Got to go somewhere. And then before the end of the day, we're going to go over my cron trade so I can get it off my chest and out of my system. Terrible trade. First half was a great trade. Second half was a terrible trade. In terms of the leader for the sector, I'd say early on, it was Ogen was the first one that was moving this morning. That's the one that gapped up kind of randomly, to almost a buck. Like randomly in context of I haven't seen any news or anything. Filled the gap, first thing in the morning, and then now it's hanging in there. It made a little new high. Yeah, Ogen. But now it could be any of them, It wasn't it was a leader, but it didn't go absolutely crazy. But they're all hanging in there. CEI's hanging up by high a day. I'm just kind of waiting for maybe a shakeout, and if we get one more little shakeout here, I'll probably contemplate taking a position on several of these. I'm kind of looking through right now. But we've got GBR, CEI, you can see hanging up right near its highs. But like I said, all of these charts have bag holders, so I'm not expecting anything like this. For me, upside on these stocks is somewhat limited. It's not, and it could. I mean, these could go ballistic again. It's not, crazier things have happened. Some of these have decently low floats. A lot of them were somewhat recent reverse splits. I can tell you the ones I'm more likely to play in terms of the chart and everything else would be GBR, possibly CEI, and PED. Those are the 3 I'm looking at. PED, is setting up for a possible gap up breakout scenario even, in which I would obviously sell into that. PED is probably one of my favorites for now. In terms of even the overall chart is a bit healthier than the others. So let me show you an example quickly. SAEX on what's going on with these little low float reverse splits. And I know Tango Baker's in here. Chris, who I just visited recently. It was cool to see him and his dad. I haven't looked at any of them, so just when you get a chance, hit up SAEX and ALT we already discussed. So, but just to give you an example of why this is tough to play, okay? It spiked from the 8s, and it spiked $4 with less than 100,000 in volume. It's just so risky to try to take a position there. And then by the time this thing settled itself, you're looking at VWAP up at 17 bucks. I don't know how to go long on that. Some people can chase that, but not me. Not me for now. Maybe there's some logical explanation why. It did hold VWAP and it did hold this level all day. And then obviously anyone who had been shorting this based on the highs, it's a low float. Random shit can happen with low floats. I don't mind this chart if it were just, if you shrunk it down a little bit and I didn't feel like risk was so crazy. Yeah, you could have bought it at 17 and risk in 15. 16, whatever this is, VWAP type level where it was holding, but That's so sketchy for me, having a floor fall out under me when a stock's already gone from 8 to 20 bucks. I miss a lot of those moves. And I'm okay with it, you know? It's not even on my scans anymore. So GBR, if I'm buying this now, I'm risking 350. I'm not quite buying it right now. I'm not going to buy a high day break necessarily either. So if I'm buying this, yeah, 350 would be my risk. You could make a case 350 to 340, you know, give it that 10 cents wiggle room type thing. But a snap could be violent. It's done good volume. I'm contemplating. I am contemplating. All right. Give me a sec. Let's see. It's just hard to tell. I mean, there's no way to know for sure that this move is going to be sustained. All you can do is take your chance if it's closing strong. Maybe get in on a dip. That's the only way I like to. And this would be considered a dip. You know, the 370s here for GBR. From the high of 425, risking 340, 350. Yeah, I mean, you got VWAP there too, so it's a pattern I'm pretty comfortable with taking overnight. That being said, I'd watch it carefully, but this has, you know, short squeeze after hours written on it for me. You wouldn't necessarily want to short this one into close, you know? That wouldn't make sense. All right, and CEI is going to break high day here, possibly. CEI has some room, but like I said, bag holders on CEI as well. But CEI I like, obviously. PED, we should see all of these kind of pop if with CEI popping. Kind of a big bid on GBR right now. I don't know if they're just propping or what's going on. Not a huge bid. It's, you know, 16,000 shares. There's an ARCA buyer at 365. So I don't know. Not huge, but some size. Size that if it were me, I would not be putting on the bid if I was trying to get filled personally. Sorry, I've been on the scans. All right. PED. PED's dipping here. CEI. Pressing the highs. I don't know. I'm not going to chase CEI. I'd be comfortable buying a high day break here. A lot of consolidation. Risk like 32, 31, 30. That type of deal. So I think I'm going to take a little CEI. Just a reasonably small position. Try to get filled. Let's see, 1 second. Okay. Yeah, OGen, I didn't really like the price action so much this morning. I mean, it's still up a lot. But, you know, it did a lot of dollar volume today. It did a lot of volume, period. And it's struggling a little bit. But it, like I said, hold on. I mean, it's holding up. It's in it, you know, there. It's made some higher lows, and it's quite a bit off its highs, kind of mid-range. But it's not too rangy. It looks like, and that's not what I want. You know, this I want something a little more rangy. And this is already day 2 on OGen, so I'd say OGen obviously probably the leader of this little push, but there may be some other reason behind it. I'll kind of do some research quickly. GBR. If it's going to pop, it's got to pop pretty soon, which it might right now. Looks like it might be setting up to pop a little bit. Kind of looking at that kind of scenario. It may, you know, keep going. Wedging a little bit. Which these are just kind of like for my own, you know, I don't put any weight into this really. It's just for me to kind of get a visual of the direction and magnitude of the move. I may have just quoted Despicable Me. I don't know. It plays in our minivan with my kids like every day I drive them, so I don't know if anyone caught that, probably not. Let's see. Yeah, so we got these things, and you know they're either going to hold up, and then we'll probably get a gap up. Maybe they blow their load in pre-market tomorrow or something. Who knows? That's like most likely scenario, I guess. Or we just get a failure and back from where they came from. I don't know yet. But I do like that the sector's up and they're holding near its highs. If I were a betting man, which I am, I would probably say we get a day 2, but you can't be for sure, obviously, of anything. But I just like movement, and more than just random movement, I like sector movement. So it's not just sympathy plays. Like I would say alt kind of kicked off the sympathy plays. Then obviously today we had SAEX. But there's no tie whatsoever, other than their recent reverse split low floats, biotechs, I think. GBR trying to get a little pop here. Timing's pretty good for a move. I may just start in on GBR as well. Yep, here's that little push on GBR. We should see a little, damn it. I tried to get filled in the 378 range, but I didn't. I don't necessarily just want to chase this up towards high a day. There's still a lot of time left in the day, so I'm not going to chase this towards high a day. I may start in though, and you know, with a couple thousand shares, and then ultimately build my position if I get a pull back down to the 370s again. If not, at least I have a couple thousand shares. CEI, I am going to buy a little bit, I think. Not too much. I'm going to start in with like 10,000 here. I don't want to necessarily. Kind of a tough call. I don't like buying high day breaks, but in this case, the chart's clean. The consolidation's clean on CEI. Very nice. But it could be a fake out. We'll see. High day was basically 35 cents. And, you know, we only got to 0.355. So I'm not just going to chase it. I'd imagine this keeps going. These squeeze into close. Okay. So I think we'll see a press here on CEI here in a second. But it's working hard for its pennies, this thing. You know what I mean? It's the float's substantially bigger than I think it was during the initial run. They have active dilution going on. So we're back under 35 now. I want to see a hold up here. You know, I'm not just going to buy a high day break. I thought about starting in on a high day break, but I'm also, so I'm just super cautious because of this, okay? If this were this day, obviously, if all this volume and momentum didn't happen earlier, I've been much more likely to possibly take a position. It just wasn't that long ago. People inevitably held this stock and are getting out into the pop, but we'll see. I actually haven't, yeah. Sorry, 1 second. Give it about 5 more minutes or so before I make a decision, hopefully. See this just kind of, just be super patient. I'm going to try to be patient here. Damn it, you guys need to tell me when it's not on. My bad, I get mixed up talking. GBR. There's a little pop on GBR. Can't believe that. Thanks, yeah, I'm saying. Yeah, I'm saying. Ideally, when do I use fundamentals and dig into the filings? Ideally, all the time, you know. Not a lot of this is technical, guys, like the penny stocks and what we're doing, and day traders. A lot of them are trading technical, so a lot of the volume are just technical traders. Chasers, just random stuff. That's why a lot of the technical setups do work with the penny stocks, especially. You know, it's not like algos screwing with everyone. But of these setups, probably most likely to take PED overnight, or GBR possibly, or CEI. Those would be obviously my 3 kind of main go-tos right now. Is MTNB an energy stock? I think it is. No, it's a biopharma. TGC, I think, is an energy stock. TGC? Yep. TGC. There's another one. And that's only up 24%. That's kind of the low-hanging fruit right now. That's something I would consider too. I mean, it's just very liquid. It's traded 415,000 shares. But kind of lagging behind, and did make a really nice move, you know, back in June, July. So you can add that to the list, TGC. Remember that one. All right, so CEI, like I said, you've got that kind of half penny. When these stocks are cheaper and you're grabbing more shares, every little penny counts, you know? So you don't want to just be, you know, buying the ask or hitting market order. Try to get, when the floats are a little bit bigger, I feel like you could be a little bit more precise with your entries. It's easier to, at least. And it may be beneficial when it's lower priced. When it's a lower float, higher price stock, you know, it's more of like a take less shares kind of situation for me. Play it really safe. So you can see I don't want to just chase a random pop on GBR, and that's why these trend lines can be deceiving. And and not an exact science, obviously. It was just to see this move. But for the most part, to the naked eye, you can see what's going on. Clean chart. Still strong. 350, 340 would be my ultimate risk at this point. After that, you know, you're looking at maybe some 3-hold or 270. So you do have to be careful. But I could, you know, this is worth pulling the trigger and then making sure that I respect my risk in terms of risk reward for me. Looking for a day 2, okay? So yeah, ideally I'm using fundamentals all the time, but at times we do a lot of technical trading and the fundamentals can be deceiving as well. The fundamentals I don't really give a shit about too much. When I'm looking through filings, I'm just looking for seeds of info that might be helpful. You can't put too much weight into the filings. Really convoluted. But, you know,